the internet is suddenly overrun with rumors that Yandy has reached a level that many followers never anticipated. Following months of anxiety, numerous rumors are making the rounds that suggest Yandy and Mendeecees' marriage may be in grave danger. This time, the topic of discussion isn't another disagreement, miscommunication, or poignant moment. Rather, data indicate that divorce is now being brought up, and fans are finding it difficult to understand what it would entail. Even though none of this has been formally verified, rumors are still circulating quickly. Commentary channels, fan pages, and blogs are all pointing to the same story. According to insiders, following months of obvious stress, challenging conversations, and emotional detachment, Yandy might have asked, seeking a divorce, indicating that the union may be ending. Fans are astounded not only by the assertion, but also by how rapidly their relationship's tone has shifted. Now, people are looking back on recent events through entirely different eyes. Scenes that used to seem like ordinary tension are now being seen as warning indicators. Viewers are wondering if such heartfelt discussions were really covert farewell talks. Fans' emotions were running high as they discussed if this was inevitable or if internet reports were exaggerating the situation. The notion that this wasn't an impulsive choice is what's stoking the rumors even more. These reports state that tensions have been rising silently for several months. Potential contributing factors include unresolved concerns, recurring disagreements, and the perception that the relationship was caught in a vicious cycle. The fan community is split on the idea that Yandy might have finally reached her breaking point. Some people think that these tales reveal a more profound reality about a marriage that has been strained for a long time. Some contend that this is another illustration of how quickly rumors can become news stories. However, one thing is evident. The topic has entirely changed since it was revealed that Yandy requested a divorce. If these claims are true, a partnership that many thought would always endure may be coming to an end. Based on a consistent flow of the friction between Yandy and Mendeecees did not emerge overnight. According to fan comments and online publications, online commenters frequently note that the current state of affairs feels like the culmination of several months. Behind the scenes, unresolved tension is subtly growing. The change in energy was apparent long before any headlines appeared. According to viewers who keep a close eye on their relationship, talking became more intense. Moments that had previously felt lighthearted started to contain a hint of annoyance, and smiles were forced. Yandy seemed emotionally spent during this time, according to commentators. According to reports that are making the rounds on the internet, she felt as though she was always asking for understanding and receiving very little in return. Supporters claim that this wasn't about a single disagreement or a single difficult day. Rather, it was the recurrence of the same problems without a true solution. The same sense of being ignored apparently followed each attempt to clear the air. According to those debating the matter, Mendeecees responded to the mounting strain in a different way, instead than leaning into challenging talks. He was frequently said to be shutting down. According to fans who have examined recent exchanges, he attempted to downplay disagreements by characterizing them as minor problems. However, Yandy claimed that those same problems were signs of something much more serious. People claim that this divergence in viewpoint may have led to an increasing emotional divide, as additional commentary, videos, and posts started portraying the situation as serious. Social media reactions grew more intense. Fans are startled because this marriage was thought to have withstood tremendous pressure for many years. Many supporters thought they could overcome anything if they had overcome previous obstacles. The reason these reports have been so damaging is precisely because of that notion. Many people who formerly thought their relationship was impenetrable find it unbelievable that divorce is even being mentioned. Online users started looking back at current events with fresh perspectives. Suddenly, scenes that had felt tense but doable were being recounted. Warning signs for ass. Fans noted conversational pauses, tone shifts, and instances where feelings appeared to overflow before being abruptly cut off. As viewers contemplated whether they were seeing typical marital tension or the gradual disintegration of something much more serious, their emotions ran high. The increasingly popular stories claim that the problem was never about a single disagreement. Some speculate that it has to do with an emotional imbalance. According to these conversations, Yandy felt as though she was battling for the relationship on all fronts with friends, family, and herself. Mendeecees might not have been exerting the same amount of emotional effort, according to the story that is developing online. For numerous fans, the tale revolved on this imbalance. People started talking about how close friends and relatives might be responding behind the scenes as the rumors persisted. Reports state that there were secret discussions long before the public became aware of it, yet nothing has been verified. Some followers think Yandy's close friends and family promoted communication and patience. Some suggest that if nothing was changing, she might have been counseled to keep her peace. The already heated debate was only intensified by these unsubstantiated assertions. What really changed the tone in these reports was the reference to divorce. Fans claim the word has significance, particularly in light of the relevant history. Commentary claims that it was said when emotional tiredness set in rather than out of rage. When someone reaches that stage, they typically feel like they have no other options. According to others talking about the scenario, many fans have developed strong feelings of sympathy for Yandy. Just based on that notion. However, there is a significant backlash from people who think these claims are overstated. Some contend that partnerships on reality TV are frequently misinterpreted and harshly assessed. They claim that reality can be distorted by editing, public pressure, and internet narratives. For them, the talk of divorce is simply another exaggerated rumor. The fan base is now divided as a result of this separation. The presence of youngsters heightens the emotional impact of the fierce conversations that take place on a regular basis. The stakes are much higher than amusement, as fans frequently point out. They discuss the long-term effects of ongoing conflict, emotional health, and family stability. Many say they wish that peace and clarity come first, no matter what is true. This worry adds a significant layer to what was once written off as merely reality TV drama. The couple's silence has further heightened rumors as they continue to circulate. People claim that every theory can become more prominent because there aren't any clear claims. Fans examine time, body language, and even absence as possible cues. People's emotions were running high as they looked for reassurance that would never come by trying to read between the lines. In these conversations, one thing is evident despite the cacophony. According to the web narrative, this is not a scandal, but rather a case of emotional exhaustion. It concerns what transpires when dialogue ceases to be leading. Two answers then begin to repeat themselves. Fans now have to face the potential that even the most seemingly solid relationships might fall down. Regardless of whether these allegations are true or just rumors, the story continues to develop through criticism, conjecture, and emotional responses from all angles when unresolved tension is allowed to fester. Supporters are still split. There are still unsolved questions, and the notion that months of stress could result in such a significant turning point has evolved. How people see this marriage in its entirety. The narrative surrounding Yandy and Mendeecees started to change from astonishment to analysis as the online conversation grew, and fans were no longer merely responding on an emotional level. They began assembling timings, trends, and actions that they believed backed the reports that are now in circulation. This kind of tension rarely arises out of nowhere. As many have noted, rather, it gradually accumulates layer by layer, until even seemingly insignificant times are burdensome. Commentators frequently point out that the emotional tone of the circumstance was what made it feel different. The reports that were being circulated stated that Yandy was no longer fighting for victory or correctness. It was said that she was speaking out of exhaustion. Online commenters claim that there is a significant distinction between fatigue and rage, and what they think they are currently witnessing resembles the latter quite a bit. They claim that exhaustion is what occurs when someone believes they have exhausted all avenues for being heard. Fans started going back to discussions, in which Yandy seemed to be requesting a simple understanding rather than a significant shift. Viewers claimed that she appeared more concerned with clarity and less engaged in confrontation during these times. Frustration accompanied the lack of clarification. The reports state that she became emotionally exhausted as a result of the cycle's frequent repetition. Many of her fans have developed a strong sense of empathy for her viewpoint as a result of this interpretation. Conversely, Mendeecees' alleged responses became a hot topic of discussion. According to online criticism, some fans contend that his strategy mirrors someone who is constantly in dispute. Some think it opted for emotional avoidance. People's debates over impact versus intent became heated, even as supporters acknowledged that shutting down during important discussions can exacerbate issues, particularly when one spouse is actively trying to find a resolution. Fans' responses grew increasingly divided as rumors grew more intense. Some expressed disappointment, believing that the split was caused by both parties. Others blamed Mendeecees for bearing the most of the emotional burden, contending that loyalty is not as important as consistency and confidence. Feelings ran high as people applied their personal experiences to the circumstances on various platforms, transforming the conversation into a really intimate one. These reports also focused on the participation of friends and extended relatives. Commentary indicates that some close to the marriage may have sensed the tension long before the public did. Even though nothing has been confirmed, supporters surmise that they may have received private counsel, first advising patience and then urging candid choices. Many viewers find great resonance in the notion that Yandy would have felt encouraged to make her own decisions. The topic of divorce was brought up repeatedly in various sources, which really intensified the discussion. Fans found it more difficult to completely reject the allegation because so many stories supported it. Even though it is still unproven, people stress that most couples do not discuss divorce lightly, especially after years of dating. The internet narrative claims that it only came to light as hope for significant change started to wane. Fans started to wonder what it meant to stay together as this prospect became more real. Emotional well-being replaced appearances and conversations. Many contended that remaining in an unhappy marriage can be more harmful than ending it. Others retorted that periods of uncertainty occur in every long-term partnership. This conflict of viewpoints kept the discussion lively in every evolved. The public's perspective was another aspect of the narrative. Fans noted how difficult it must be to navigate private struggles under constant scrutiny. Commentary suggests that current problems might have been exacerbated by public pressure. Every argument turns into a conversation starter. Every pause raises suspicions. Whether the relationship ever had room to heal was a topic of discussion. Children continued to be at the center of many conversations without outside noise, impacting judgments. The significance of mental safety and stability was frequently brought up by viewers. Reactions from fans suggest that this factor alone might have a significant impact on any option under consideration. Some people think this is the reason Yandy allegedly persisted for so long. Others speculate that it might possibly be the reason why the stress eventually grew intolerable. In any case, having kids around raises the stakes well beyond amusement. The couple's silence continued to dominate the conversation as the days went by. Just silence. Neither affirmations nor denials. That quiet felt loud to a lot of supporters. It was seen as strategic by some. For others, it was an indication that things were genuinely difficult behind the scenes. Supporters' emotions were running high as they looked for comfort in old pictures, interviews, and even covert internet activity. A recurrent thread surfaced in the discourse among all the conjecture. Many people believe that this is not a case of scandal or treachery. It has to do with emotional detachment. It's about what occurs when two people start using separate emotional languages, and neither of them feels completely understood. Supporters claim that realization alone lends credibility to these allegations, even in the absence of verification. By now, the story had changed once more. The emphasis shifted from whether or not divorce was discussed to why the relationship might have gotten to this stage in the first place. People started realizing that when unsolved problems persist for too long, even strong ties can deteriorate. These stories, whether true or false, have made fans face hard realities about committed relationships and emotional work. One thing doesn't change as the conversation does. The reports claiming that Yandy asked for divorce have reshaped how fans view the marriage. Emotions are still split. Questions keep coming up, and the narrative doesn't go away. Rather, it becomes more intricate, paving the way for more in-depth discussions regarding potential future developments and whether this relationship can ever revert to its previous state. Fans started concentrating more on the emotional arc being described in these reports and less on specific occasions as the discussion shifted into conjecture. A large number of persons online began claiming that the claimed incident between Yandy and Mendeecees felt more like the outcome of two people gradually drifting apart than a single dramatic event. Commentary claims that the gap did not appear out of nowhere. Unresolved discussions, unfulfilled expectations, and recurring cycles that never really ended were some of the subtle ways it infiltrated. Supporters debating the matter asserted that over time, Yandy's claimed mindset changed. Fans claimed that at the beginning, she seemed optimistic and continued to think that open dialogue could mend what felt damaged. However, the tone stated in these reports purportedly shifted over the course of several months. She reportedly questioned whether it was still possible to correct things rather than how to do so. Fans feel that this change is frequently the most difficult phase of a relationship, since it indicates the start of emotional estrangement. Yandy was no longer responding emotionally in the heat of the moment, according to many spectators who have examined recent exchanges. Rather, she seemed composed yet forceful, which some see as an indication that someone has already dealt with their sadness on the inside. On the internet, people frequently claim that when feelings become quiet instead of loud, it typically indicates that a decision has already begun to take shape beneath the surface. The accounts that claim divorce was mentioned have gained credibility as a result of this interpretation. There was ongoing discussion about Menk's place in this developing story. His reported comments were viewed as inconsistent. According to fan feedback, there were times when it seemed like he wanted peace, and other times when it seemed like he just wanted the conflict to end without more discussion. Whether this is a sign of emotional exhaustion or emotional avoidance is still up for debate among fans. In any case, a lot of people concur that mismatched communication styles can gradually weaken even the most solid relationships as responses come in. Supporters started extrapolating their personal experiences onto the circumstance. Personal accounts of partnerships in which one partner felt as though they were bearing the emotional burden alone can be found in the comment sections. The idea of trying, waiting, hoping, and ultimately coming to a point where continuing feels more painful than letting go, is frequently echoed in these accounts, which are similar to the reports concerning Yandy. People's emotions were running high, strongly connected to the purported emotional experience. The concept of timing was another area that was receiving consideration. These tales claim that rather than during a heated debate, the discussion of divorce occurred after a protracted period of internal strife. This detail, according to fans, is important because it shifts the story from an impetuous reaction to a deliberate choice. Online users stress that when someone casually brings up the subject of divorce, it indicates they have already used up all of their private options, as more commentary stations portrayed the incident as a turning point rather than fleeting drama. The public's response grew increasingly intense. The speed at which the marriage's image has changed has astounded fans. What was formerly thought to be robust is now regarded as brittle. Some viewers acknowledged that they opposed this narrative at first, but recurring reports gradually eroded it. At their certainty, questions took the place of presumptions, and doubt took the place of assurance. Family issues were the main topic of conversation. Fans frequently expressed how challenging it must be to balance one's own happiness with the stability of a family. This psychological struggle might have been one of Yandy's most difficult experiences. According to comments, speculation about the scenario is that if emotional well-being keeps deteriorating, staying for the sake of family can only go so far. Viewers engaged in heated discussion over this viewpoint. Others, however, advised prudence and reminded everyone that public figures frequently face increased scrutiny. Some fans think the claims are overstating typical marital difficulties. They contend that the lack of denial does not imply agreement and that silence does not equate to confirmation. Due to this pushback, there has been continuous back and forth on social media, preventing the narrative from becoming biased. The fact that none of the reports offered a definitive solution added to the complexity of the situation. Nothing spoke to finality, reconciliation, or closure. Rather, everything seemed to be suspended in doubt. Fans claim that this ambiguity is what keeps feelings unfiltered. People use hypotheses, presumptions, and emotional responses to fill in the blanks when there are no answers. Without clearing up any uncertainty, every new commentary video adds another level. Additionally, a lot of fans started to wonder about the psychological effects of living in the spotlight all the time. Commentary claims that the strain of upholding stress might be increased when dealing with actual problems. Fans hypothesize that this pressure may have prevented open communication in the beginning, allowing animosity to develop covertly. Issues might already be deeply ingrained by the time they become public. One concept kept coming up as the reports spread: the conviction that a marriage cannot always be sustained by love alone. In their discussions, viewers contend that communication, effort, and emotional safety are all equally crucial. Even long-standing partnerships might end when such factors feel out of balance. Many people have found resonance in this wider discussion, expanding the narrative beyond celebrity rumors. There was